Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we're doing a lot of projects with the Porsche 911. I have some stuff I've been really needing to do for, gosh, I don't even know how many months now. Some things, especially like with the rear hatch, that I need to fix. Whenever I did like the body kit and everything and the wrap, there's some stuff I kind of had to do in the back that really wasn't the right way to do it. And whenever I got like the whole wing and all, the whole assembly, there was one piece I did not realize was in the box until I pretty much made everything work, kind of like with some custom fabrication. So now we got to get this piece put in. So what I need to do is open up the rear hatch, which right now is kind of stuck because of the custom latch I had to make because I didn't have that base plate, because it was in the box the whole time. But I got to pull off the whole rear bumper, got to pull out a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and move the Tesla over so I have enough room, because I need to put like the bumper somewhere. And yes, the garage is a mess right now because I've been working on so many other projects, getting a lot of stuff knocked out. And now I finally have time to get to my own car. So I'm going to move that out, and then I can start with the disassembly of the 911. But also, while I'm in there, I do need to do an oil change, so yeah, now I gotta do that as well. All right, so with this piece right here, it does slide under, or it sits right there as like a whole base plate. The latch mechanism hooks on the underside of that right there, which will sit about right here. And the original one is a lot further up. Because it's not lining up properly, I kind of had to make my own custom latch. And that's now causing the whole rear hatch to not want to open all the way, especially when I hit the release. So up underneath there, you can see the shiny pieces of metal. There we go, you can kind of see it. I need to get a wrench in there to undo the latch to be able just to open the hatch, and then I got to relocate the whole mechanism onto the new plate once I get that mounted. So yeah, I'm going to start off with disassembling this from the inside out, and then I got to take off the whole rear end of this car because the whole top of the rear bumper actually hooks in right along here as well. So all that's got to come off. All right, so now we got that open. That's where the latch is connected to. And these are the two bolts right there that I had to get out. And this is like a custom kind of ghetto latch to work. The mechanism is right here, and the latch is down inside, and it's like stuck in there for some reason. So that's why I had to unbolt it from this side. The whole new base plate, as you can see, that's mounted there, will then sit about right here. So it'll line up with the screws of where the new latch is actually going to go. So it'll come down and hook in right about here. And it did come with a whole new latch. So this is just custom made to make this whole hatch work with the old base plate, but now I have the new base plate. I can swap that out, but that's going to require a lot of this. Actually, this entire section is going to all come out just to do that, which also means I need to take the fans and the intake and all that stuff off, but also the whole rear bumper. All right, so now that we have the rear bumper off, I can get to most of the stuff for this plate, but in order to get that off, I got to get the fans out, got to get some of the other stuff all pulled out of here. That's the air box, so change the engine air filters. I got to take off that, so if you guys were curious and haven't seen previous videos. I have a ton of heat shielding, which most of this is kind of pointless because there's nothing right behind this whole area because it is straight pipe with an X pipe in the middle. But yeah, let me just get to removing all this other stuff and ripping all that out. All right, so we have the old base plate off, and there's these like little metal clips that I actually need to take off and then add on to the trailing edge here. And then seeing as how big these holes are, I might need to make these ones a little bit bigger because I don't know if they're exactly the same, but there might be some custom fabric that needs to go into this, as well as the cooling fans hooked into, I believe it was this one, and then I ran a zip tie through, I think it connected through that. So I might have to rig up something with these as well, maybe make those holes bigger, but I just need to, when I flip it over, you can kind of see that there's some mounting points right here. There's some other holes throughout we do have the latch mechanism that will essentially get bolted on right here. And then we also need to, I guess it's like the whole cable assembly for that, I'm assuming is what bolts in right here. There's no instructions for any of this, so we just got to figure it out. Same thing with when I got this whole hatch installed, and then when I replaced the entire front end of this car, like the front fenders and bumper and everything. There's a lot of custom fab work that went into getting all this to fit and getting it on, as well as this entire rear hatch with the whole wing and everything. So I'm just going to get to grinding and knocking this thing out because I don't know how long it's going to take. And there's going to be a lot of custom work that goes into this. So I'll catch back up to you guys, hopefully when I get everything mounted to the back of this. All right, so this is looking so much better. I have the new latch hanging right there. I have the whole new plate sitting right here. The new latch mechanism is up underneath here, as well as a lot of the other equipment. And obviously you got that big giant open hole, and that's where you have like the fans that'll hook in and mount right there on each side. And then we'll have the intake right here that'll mount right into the middle, and I can still obviously access everything. There's more room right now, so whenever I go to do the oil change, I'll be able to get to the filter, the oil filter, right down in there a lot easier, because this does cut in a bit more. So yeah, now I'm just kind of getting this whole thing put back together. I still need to do an oil change, but yeah, stay tuned, there's still more to come. All right, so we're kind of doing a test fit right now with the rear bumper on with that new plate, and everything so far is looking like it's lining up. I did have to, like right here, that was the original hole. I did make it wider, but then ended up having to make a new spot because the way the taillights lined up, it wasn't perfect. Did make these wider, and everything else fits really well. The fans, everything do hook into place, but since I do need to do an oil change next, I might put the intake and that fan in, but then leave this one out for now. Just make sure everything else lines up. These line up really nice with those holes, so that's really awesome. And everything's looking like it's coming along nicely. This whole thing does kind of float, and I didn't want it to float just on the rear latch itself. So I sampled with some of the jack pucks, and I just kind of taped them in place, and they do go down and like sit right here on top of where these bolts are going to be, which directly below that is a piece of the frame. So technically, once I'm actually going to get some more of these. I'm going to use these for the oil change, and then when I'm done, I'm going to take them and glue them into place with some silicone, and those will essentially stay up on the underside of the hatch. And then I have new ones coming in tomorrow, and I'll just use the new set as my actual jack pucks. Those can hold, like 4 of those hold the weight of the car. I mean, I'm probably sure you can put a lot more weight on them, but all it's doing is holding the weight of the downforce of the wing. When I get the new wing on, it's going to use new uprights, but the same hatch. So all that weight's going to be going into that, pushing down directly onto the frame. So I feel like it's going to be a nice secure setup, at least for now. But yeah, I think that's going to turn out really well. So I guess I'm going to put in all the screws and get the rear bumper kind of bolted into place. Everything else with this plate is all hooked in, secure. I did fasten some other stuff underneath here. I do want to maybe like zip tie this in place because it is kind of loose. I'll probably put a zip tie on like each side of this just to make sure those are held down in place. So if you guys are thinking about getting a Porsche, there is some weird stuff with it. There's some, I don't want to say overcomplicated, but alternate ways of doing things. Like you can't just open the hood and work on the engine. You can't really do much if you open the hatch, so you pretty much have to do a rear bumper. If you get a Cayman, you're pretty much pulling apart the entire rear trunk just to get to the top of the engine. You can do a lot of stuff from the underside, but yeah. If you guys are interested in getting a Porsche, make sure you guys keep in mind of all that stuff. Once you learn how to work on one of these cars, it's actually kind of easy in my opinion. Like I said, there's weird things, but as long as you have all the tools and the time and patience, it's actually not bad at all. It's pretty fun to work on. So this is not a paid product ad for like Quick Jacks, but if you guys do want to pick some up, there's going to be a link in the description down below. You can literally get them on their website or on Amazon, have them delivered to your house. Like, obviously this is a stock ride height on a Porsche 911, which is still pretty low compared to most cars, but look at how low I can get under this. Like, the Quick Jacks can literally slide under this. I know people with like Lamborghinis that the Quick Jacks also fit under. And now I'll be able to raise this car up in my garage at home. Like, this is just amazing being able to do stuff like this. So if you guys do want to pick some of these up, there will be a link in the description down below. So definitely go check that out. I highly suggest it. You don't have to use an old school jack and jack stands. You can literally just raise it up on quick jacks. But let me raise the car up and get started on the oil change. All right, so we're under the car, and man, that oil is so dark. Yes, it is like, I won't say a little overdue. It's still kind of early, but it's about time for it to be done anyway. But dang, that is like super dark. So if you guys were curious what the underside looks like, this is pretty much it. So the whole exhaust, you have the catless headers, goes to the middle with an X pipe, you got the fab speed, and then it comes right back to the outside of each side. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole exhaust. You got obviously the headers on each side, but yeah, this thing definitely needed that oil change. So we're just gonna let this sit and run because it is a flat six. It does kind of drain a little bit differently than I think most cars. So it does take a little while. So yeah, we'll just come back whenever this is all done. All right, so it is an hour later, like literally an hour later. And look at this. The oil is still running down. Like literally an hour, maybe like an hour and like 3 minutes. So that is just crazy. I went in, had some dinner, came back out, and it's still running. Oh my gosh. So I guess while this is doing that, I'm going to take out the filter, and maybe with the housing off, it'll allow more air to kind of flow into the system. All right, so we have the car back on the ground, and all I have to do is, not tonight because it's actually kind of late, but maybe tomorrow if it's not raining, I gotta take this thing out, drive it around, gotta get up to operating temperature so I can get the oil measured because it does not have a dipstick. You have to do it through the car's computer. So you gotta get it at operating temperature, and then you can pull it up and see the exact level, and then I'll probably have to come back in, add a little bit more oil, and it'll be good to go. And I do have a couple events coming up, so you guys will probably see me out, like events in Houston, there's events in Austin, San Antonio. Like, I'm going all over the place. That's another reason why I really need to get this oil change done, because I do a lot of driving. Like, I bought this car to drive it, and I actually do drive the heck out of it. And man, this whole back end looks so much better. If you guys remember what it looked like before, like this is such an improvement. Yeah, there's like a little wear spot right here. I think the material was maybe a little too high and they shaved it down. But this is like an unpainted surface, so I'm not really too worried about it. It's not like for show, it's honestly just pure functional. But the old latch used to be right there, and I had like a little ghetto set up before, and now we have like an actual latch, and that's the one that did come with the Darwin Pro, kind of hold back in the wing and all that. And like this is also Darwin Pro. This stuff is great quality. I did have to like slightly like make the holes a little bit bigger. I think the taillight holes I kind of had to make like a little like off to the side, make it like oval shape to be able to fit it perfectly. But other than that, like this thing is great. I love it. And now all I have to do is have a couple of these pucks for the jack. What I'm actually going to do is adhere these right up on the bottom right there, and then it'll come down and it'll sit right here on a nice solid part of this like deck lid, whatever you want to call it. And like this whole thing will actually be like nice and stable. So all I have to do is just kind of attach those, and that's the only thing I have left. But I am going to go ahead and wrap up the video right there. If you guys did like this video, go down, hit the like button. Let me know if you guys like this style of vlog, which is kind of like a documenting what I do on like my days off. Like whenever I actually do have some time to be able to get stuff done for myself, this is kind of like what goes on, just working on the car. I also have other projects, like I had the Honda Civic. I had a bunch of videos with that. There's still a lot more of those I need to get posted, but a lot of how-to videos, a lot of people looking for those, so it's definitely nice being able to help everybody out. But yeah, let me know if you guys like this style of video, just kind of working on my car, making modifications, and I've done a few other videos like this where I'm actually doing upgrades on it. I'm not really doing like how-tos, just kind of documenting for my purpose. But let me know if you guys did like this style of video, but also don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But as always, thank you for watching.